Welcome to the space for transformational leaders to unleash their magic, see better client results, work lighter, and live sourced. Hey there, sourced magician. Don't let them scare you with logic. I'm Darla Ledoux. I am the founder of Sourced, author of Shift the Field, and welcome to this video. So I want to start by establishing, in case you're new here, I am a recovering engineer. What I mean by that is my first degree is in engineering. My first career was as a chemical engineer. I worked in a Fortune 20 company and had an amazing time at the start of my career. And here I am with a video called Don't Let Them Scare You with Logic. And this is really, really important because when I was in corporate, all right, first of all, I'm so grateful for my upbringing as an engineer, my schooling, and my initial career and the training that I got into thinking logically, problem solving, really strategy, right, was the most important thing that I learned. But there's a lot of those skills that I learned there that support me in my business today. On the flip side, there's a lot of my intuitive abilities that actually supported me as an engineer, believe it or not. There were ways where I would intuitively know how the pieces fit together, and then I could set up a test to actually prove it, right? And so, why I'm sharing this with you and why this video is called Don't Let Them Scare You with Logic is that I see all the time that someone who maybe didn't grow up in engineering like I did, who is a transformational leader, a coach, a consultant, a healer, a creative of some sort, who maybe doesn't have the background that I have in doing statistics and really proving my case with data and logic, can get really insecure or intimidated when someone brings numbers in, brings logic in to a conversation when you're coming from an intuitive place. So here's what I want to share about this. It is possible to create a logical argument for something supported by data that isn't actually true or right or accurate. I saw this all the time inside my work as an engineer, where someone would run an experiment, but before running the experiment, the question was, what do we want this data to prove? Right? And then they would design the experiment to prove the thing that they actually wanted to prove because they were already attached to a certain outcome and they wanted the data to support it. This is happening all the time, all over the place. Okay. So remember, from a transformational standpoint, we know when we look for something, we're really likely to find it, right? When we have an expectation that our business is going to thrive, it's really likely to thrive, whereas the opposite, right? So similarly, when someone would like to prove something is a certain way, they're going to find the logic, they're going to find the data, they're going to make it happen to prove that case. And here's a really practical way to think about this. Have you ever been in an argument with a loved one where all of a sudden you find yourself vehemently arguing for something that you literally don't care about at all? I want you to just take a moment and think about that. This is what happens when logic is running the show, right? We might think, well, if this, then that, if this, then that, if this, then that. And pretty soon we're really effectively arguing for something that's not actually true for us or that we don't really care about. So now let's take the example of where this might show up in your business. Let's say you have spent time and energy honing your sourced connection, understanding how your inner knowing works, sitting with your soul, asking your soul the questions that you really want to know the answer for your unique path, right? What you're here to do as a unique highly divine, intuitive being, and you've come to a conclusion that this is what's really calling to you, or this is how you'd like to express in the world, or this really lights you up, or oh my gosh, I think this would be possible. And then you go out in the world and you start interacting with people and sharing your vision. And all of a sudden, people start giving you logical reasons why that won't work. I know everybody's experienced this, right? Now, here's the thing, you don't want to be unreceptive, okay? Being receptive is a huge part of being sourced. So you want to be willing to receive the information without shutting it out, because there may be a nugget in what they're sharing that is exactly what you needed to hear. Source may be trying to get you a piece of information, right? But what you don't want to do is assume they're right and defer to their knowing over your sourced knowing, right? Don't let them scare you with their logic. Logically, what they're sharing with you might make perfect sense to you. Yeah, that's logical, but it's not sourced. It may be that that information, that logic helps and supports your case. It may be that it gives you something that's going to turn you 3 degrees, that's going to make all the difference. So allow it, right? But you don't have to take it on like it's true. You can, being receptive does not mean we keep it. We can be receptive and let it flow right on by. Like, thank you for sharing. I'll move along. Your knowing, right? Believing yourself, believing your truth increases your ability to receive from source in all manner of ways. If someone else's logic or rationality is going to sway you off of your source path so quickly, right, you're not going to get the next step and the next step and the next step. So allow this to sink in. May this information be there, be present in that moment when someone's logic comes in and pops you out of your source knowing up into your head, gets you a little bit confused and off track, and pretty soon you're agreeing with them when what they're saying isn't actually aligned with your truth. This can happen to us in business, it can happen to us in life. And so I just wanted to bring awareness to that. People can prove whatever case they want. Just because it's logically sound doesn't make it true. Trust your source knowing over the input of others, and be willing to receive it and keep what feels right and let the rest just flow on through. I'm Darla Ledoux, founder of Sourced, author of Shift the Field. Thank you for being here. Please like, subscribe, and share. And I would love to hear, what is this bringing up for you? See you soon.